hit this fancy little record button you've got built into the UI. All right, folks, one last time. My name is Michael Brennan, VP of Partner Development and Strategic Partner Relationships here at Windstream Enterprise. This is the Wednesday with Windstream webinar series. I've actually been able to get that down and say that without tripping over my own tongue. Today is Scott Yelton presenting on Office Suite, Enterprise Scalability. Without further ado, Scott, I'm going to let you take things off and run with it.
All right. Thanks, Michael. My screen coming through okay?
You are 5 by 5.
All right. Excellent. So I know we'll have a few more folks joining here, but I'm going to start off with a little bit about sort of what enterprise businesses are looking for. And keep in mind, this doesn't just apply to enterprise business. This could apply to any size business, but as you scale up, as you move up market and you sell to larger customers, these things become more importantly, especially when moving to the cloud. One of the recent Gartner studies cited that their cloud spending is the highest in the United States, almost quadruple that of what do you have in other countries, followed by the UK and Japan, China, but the United States is far and above the other nations as far as cloud spending. So the adoption rate of cloud services definitely growing amongst the enterprise businesses. I think they've really been the holdout, right? I would say that small businesses, they've adopted it because they are more nimble, can do it quicker, easier to make a move, less dependencies. But when it comes to enterprise business, really there's 5 key components that they all need and they're all looking for, and they've got their checklist in hand. And these are the sort of the minimum bar. These are the things they've got to have to make it work for them. So when you talk about unified communications, it's no different. They've got to have these components in play. So what I wanted to walk you through this morning is talk a little bit about how Windstream has developed our Office Suite product to sort of grow up, if you will, to meet some of these needs. Office Suite, for those of you that don't know, is Windstream's homegrown UCaaS platform that we've developed the software for, and we have all the development resources in-house. There are a few components like the one we're using now, HD Meeting, which has got underlying code that's third party, but in a Windstream wrapper with other integrated interfaces and private label. But for a large and whole part, we've developed the Office Suite product ourselves, including the contact center component. So we're very proud of it. We got a lot of sense of ownership, but at the same time, we realize it's not been all things to all people. So we've been doing some things to expand that focus, expand the capabilities up market, so we can enable you, our partners, to go out and meet those needs with a product that is got a richer customer experience, and quite honestly pays well because we also own the platform, and we can incent you more to offer the product. So when we talk about ease of use, ease of management, scalability, integration with systems and business applications, service quality and control, and security and compliance. There's your checklist. That's what you're going to be looking for, and that's what the enterprise IT CIOs are going to be looking for when you go have that conversation. So how are we meeting those needs? Well, first and foremost, we know that the customer portal or the customer applications are kind of the center of the universe when it comes to management and end user control. Aside from the VoIP phone or the IP phone that sits on people's desk, which is quickly becoming a relic, the digital tools, whether it be the mobile apps or the portal, the desktop apps, or some other type of interface that we'll talk about. I think we talked a little bit when we first got on the call. Really, those digital environments are really what makes it tangible. That's really the tangible element of the product, right? That's what makes it real. So what we've done is we've now integrated Office Suite UC into our larger customer portal framework. So now for an administrator, everything's in one place. We've got orders, you've got reporting, you can view pay bills, you got network status, SD-WAN, as well as all the Office Suite components that we'll talk about. This is something that we are on the precipice of releasing in August for select new logos, and then we're going to be ramping up quickly from there to offer to other customers. So you guys are seeing it here first, and so you're on the leading edge, not the bleeding edge, but the leading edge of our development efforts. We want to make sure we keep you informed. But how do we make it easy? So it's one thing for the administrators to be able to go in and make changes, to order, to check their billing, to check reports, to look at open tickets, closed tickets, etc. It's another thing for them to get end users to actually adopt the thing and start using it, right? So we've also created a mobile application that integrates that functionality, which will soon include the soft phone as well, but also includes HD Meeting, the client we're using now. So it will allow them to, as an end user, manage their day-to-day communications, check voicemails, make routing changes if they want to change call routing, but most importantly, maintain that business always-on presence with their business number, not have to get off their mobile number to everyone. So they've got that business presence for chat, business presence for their calls and their HD meetings, to be able to communicate pretty seamlessly, whether they're at their desk, whether on their mobile device, whether they're on their Android or tab or iOS tablet. So really across all device platforms. And I'm not gonna try to make this any more than it is. Sure, other companies offer some of these type of capabilities through it with the soft phone and with access, but I would challenge any of them to make it as easy to operate and easy to navigate as our application is now. It's very clean, super clean, and it offers really ease of access. And honestly, I use my mobile device to make calls over my IP phone now, even when I'm in the office or at home, just because it's portable, it works, and it's just become force of habit. So let's talk about scalability for a minute. Let's go big. So how big can we go? Well, Office Suite, previously we said, hey, if you got more than 2,500 users, you really need to look at another solution, right? Or even if you plan to have more than 2,500 users, and that's across the entire enterprise, across the entire nation. Well, we just kind of blew that out of the water and said, let's go big or go home. We went big. We now can go up to 20,000 seats. So 20,000 users across an enterprise through a single pane of glass interface to allow extension calling among all the users. We're developing click-to-call capabilities from the portal app, which will be a fast follower. And this is not something where we're charging extra for. This is just a value add. This is part of growing up, if you will, for the Office Suite platform. As you can see from the illustration on the right, in the portal, we now have a function called enterprise groups, where admins can go in, or even as their partner, if they've given you permissions, you can go in and manage these enterprise groups and be able to nickname locations. They're not going to know necessarily how an account number translates to a location. So in this example, we've nicknamed it Candlebrook Corporate and Candlebrook Remote Offices. There could be multiple groups in here. So it's not necessarily just about the number of users, but also the way you want to organize the views in the portal. So we've developed this. This is going to be exclusively available in the WeConnect portal, which is what we're in the process of rolling out. We just discussed for August. So we're making the portal available for select customers in August. We we're in what we'll call a pre-sales mode, because we can go out and let's go ahead and talk about this to customers, and we want to move forward with this. But I would the only word of caution I would have is like some of the capabilities that we develop with for example, the click to call won't be released until September timeframe. So when we say order accepted September, provisioning ready October, that means that's when we're ready to scale and enable all the capabilities. But we'll have day one the ability to offer the enterprise group visibility and management right out of the gates.
And Scott, just for everyone's awareness, we're doing a customer WeConnect portal demonstration at the end of August. Mark Weiner will come on from that group, and he'll share a demonstration of what that portal looks like, so that our partners can understand the tools that the customers have available to them, and also, you as partners can gain access to those tools to do administrative tasks on behalf of your partners, or your customers, if that's a responsibility you take on. So
exactly. Well, that's good.
Yep.
I'll definitely be here for that one. So just taking it one step further. So just as an example, so I've clicked on now Candlebrook Corporate or remote offices in this case, and I want to manage the auto attendant. So I can drill down to that tenant level from any of the widgets or the top level ribbon areas that we've got enabled to be able to manage things like call groups or phones and accessories, phone key profiles, so I can set up users to have one speed dial to dial into conference calls, etc. So this is just a drill down of what it looks like once you click on that enterprise groups and you drill down to any of the individual functions that we made. We make it easy to either do a drop down and just click on an item, or do a search if you've got 50 locations in there that are set up under different groups. The next area on our checklist, now we're going down the checklist, number 3 was integrations. Well, we are making good headway on integrations. We continue to update Salesforce, the Salesforce Lightning version that we've integrated with now. But you'll see Skype for Business is kind of going the way of the dodo bird, right? We're moving on to Teams. So Teams we're on the cusp of releasing an integration with Teams. We rolled out Amazon. I won't say her name so I don't activate any devices, but I'm talking about, the Echo. We rolled out a Slack integration, and those are also available via WeConnect. So again, WeConnect is some of the keys to that authentication that gives customers the ability to integrate with those other devices, voice assistants, voice-enabled devices. And we'll talk about what those do in a minute. But when you talk about other integrations, we offer integrations, some that are vertical specific, like our Dentrix software that integrates for dental, specific to dental practices. Microsoft Dynamics. And really, when it comes down to it, if there is an application that has an API that can do call outs or screen pops for phone number that they want, or some other variable they want to do integration with, then we've got a platform that can handle that type of integration. These are the most common that you'll see out there, but certainly are not the only. We've got 23 in total that we've got, we'll call them out of the box integrations with, and then we offer custom integration beyond that. So what does this Amazon skill do? Well, if I was in my home office, I would demonstrate it for you, but I'm traveling today, so I'm just going to have to give you the play-by-play. So with the Amazon skill, you can by asking your Amazon Echo to open the Office Suite skill, you can turn on and out do not disturb. You can set call twinning. You can update call forwarding. You can say, update my call forwarding to another number. You can manage, and this is probably the most useful for me, is to play voicemails, manage voicemails. We are adding calling capability to this as well, so you can just flat out make a call if you want to do hands-free. Say you're using the application on your mobile device in the car, which I do fairly frequently too. We all know it's not safe to text or make phone calls and drive, but voice activation is okay. So that's sort of our use case for this, is enabling mobility, enable ease of access from home work environments, because most people don't have these in their office. Some do, but I think you may get pranked a lot if you're like me into that. So our Slack integration is very similar to that, except with Slack, typically, most of your enterprise customers and small businesses have a subset of users that use Slack, right? It's usually the developers or someone that is in the software side. In my case, some of our product managers and some of the other use it to integrate, to create channels to interface with developers. So it's it's one of the environments, once you get in it, you kind of live within that environment, and you want everything connected. So we connected Office Suite. We built some skills that allow you to start web conferences, see call presence, to chat with other users across, even if they're not using Slack, using the Office Suite chat. So it's got some good benefits for those subset of users that are Slack fanatics. I use both Teams and Slack as well as Office Suite. So I'm one of those cross-functional guys that uses all those platforms. So it's good to not have to worry about which environment I'm in. I can access my communication tools. And lastly, I think this to me is one of the most important differentiators that Windstream can bring to the table. And this is regardless of the size of the business. Service quality and control, whether you're a small business owner or your enterprise customer, you want it to work. You want good quality. So how do you control that? And how do you know when there is an issue, what the issue is, right? There are plenty of our competitors that can give you quality monitoring, but very few that can do anything about it. They may be able to say, yep, you got a problem. But how many of them can actually put the tools in your hand to fix the problem, or at least identify where the problem is? With the Office Suite and SD-WAN, kind of a little match made in heaven, we've got the ability to not only monitor the quality of service down to the individual phones or application level, but also allow businesses to prioritize those communication levels and make changes themselves and do those things for themselves. So that is something that gives them the ability to take control and do things in their own, under their own umbrella, if you will. So I think that's one aspect I really emphasize, because sure, not all customers are going to buy SD-WAN, but I will say that whether if it's an enterprise customer, they want some type of quality and control, and they're willing to pay for it. With smaller businesses, they're more price sensitive. But on a side note, we have come out with a new flavor of SD-WAN that brings it, I'll say it down to a more affordable level. That's going to make it more accessible for other folks.
Hey, Scott, you mind if I chime in a little bit with that SD-WAN comment?
Sure.
So those of you on the phone who don't know me, I'm Blaze Brady. I'm the SD-WAN and security overlay for the channel. So if you ever have any SD-WAN opportunities or security opportunities, I'll be happy to participate. But the reason I wanted to chime in here is because I was actually speaking with a partner just recently in Southern California, and they had an interesting perspective. They're a big UCaaS shop. They've been selling UCaaS for many, many years, right? That's like their go-to-market strategy. And they just include SD-WAN as part of their quote, right? They just include it as when they're presenting a UCaaS business solution back to their customers, they just automatically add it as one of the line items onto their solution. And sometimes the customer even asks, "So what's this line item right here?" And sometimes the partner very simply says, "Oh, that's just a piece of technology that really makes sure that UCaaS gives you that user experience and the reliability that you want." And the customer says, "Okay, sounds good," and then they just move on from there, right? They just literally almost it's almost the fries with that kind of conversation that particular UCaaS partner, because again that's their bread and butter, right? They've been selling UCaaS since the beginning, and so that's their bread and butter pitch for adding SD-WAN to their solution. So,
that's great, Brady. I think that's a great idea. So, it's a lot easier to have that conversation up front than it is to come back later and say, "Oh, well, we didn't talk about this, but this would help you."
Yeah, I mean, one thing that I like to say in that kind of situation is SD-WAN becomes the enabler, right? Not like enabling your 35-year-old kid to live in your basement, but instead enabling that UCaaS, CCaaS solution to truly deliver those desired outcomes. So
Exactly. And last but not least, the final item on the checklist, and this one usually comes in play like when you're down to the wire and you're ready, you got the paperwork on the desk ready to sign off, and they come back and say, "Oh yeah, I forgot to ask you one thing. Is your solution secure and allow us to be compliant?" And especially if they're in the healthcare or financial vertical, this one is going to always come up, right? So we've made an investment, and a few investments, but in this case, two in particular with Office Suite that recently came to fruition to look at both the HIPAA and high-tech healthcare acts out there that are around the healthcare or the PHI, patient health information or protected health information, and around SOC 2, which is basically a security and availability principles. It basically looks at your processes, it looks at the environments, and how you maintain security, availability, and integrity of the client's data. And those two in particular are focused on, the SOC focused on financial, and the HIPAA and high-tech focused on the healthcare industries are the ones that they're looking for. And we can stay with your confidence that we enable compliance in both of those areas. And most of the time that's enough for them to and there's actually a press release out about this. We can share easily, but most of the time that checks the box for them. If they want to go deeper, we do offer the ability for them to get copies of these compliance request forms, compliance reports, I should say. But because they contain a lot of, a ton of information, some of it, proprietary information, we do ask that they sign an NDA, and we'll provide it, and we'll provide that report. So that we can encourage you, if you get that request, go through your channel manager, and they'll complete this compliance request form with you and get this signed off and provided to the customer. You're not asking them anything that any other provider hasn't asked them already. They would expect this as part of the process. So the good news is you can check that box. We've got those in place, and we can support those industries. And we have a lot of success, especially in the healthcare industry, with nursing care facilities. I'll call it anything that is a retail-like clinic, whether it be for eyeglasses, whether it be for really anything that is a multi-site healthcare type environment. That tends to be an area they're looking for compliance, but also the ease of access and the other components that Office Suite has to provide. So we've had a tremendous amount of success there. I encourage you guys to focus your efforts there too, because it's been a great area for us. So with that said, I think we checked off the list here. We talked about ease of management, ease of use, All right, ability to scale, integration with systems and business applications, service quality control, and security and compliance. I'm going to stop there and see if we have comments or questions.
Before I let it open up to comments or questions or concerns, if there's a partner out there today that is looking to get more knowledgeable in Office Suite, is there any upcoming certifications out there that they could leverage?
I'm glad you asked. So we do offer a certification program for Office Suite. For those of you that want to learn more and get really, if you want to be a product expert on this, you want to be able to demo the portal, you want to be able to demo the functionality, and you may even want to be able to perform installations on behalf of your customer, then we've got a program for you. And it's not going to be overly intrusive of your work environment. You can do it and still keep your day job. We're running the next one from August 12th through August 16th, and it's 2 hours a day. So it's 11 to 1 Eastern, 8 to 10 Pacific if you're West Coaster. So it won't take up the whole day, and we have a variety of presenters to make sure that we're hitting on all the right subjects with the subject matter expert in that area. So we'll cover everything listed here, as well as our contact center offering, and show you how to conduct a great demo, how to use the partner portal successfully, go through all the hardware and accessories and all the software. So it's a really great program. We have a lot of fun doing it, and I highly encourage you to reach out. Just send an email to your channel manager and say, hey, I want in. Here's my name, email address, phone number. Sign me up, and we'll get you in there. So thanks for the setup, Michael. Yeah, absolutely.
You're welcome. I'm going to unmute all lines. I realize we are at the end of the 30 minutes, but I'm going to unmute lines and see if there's any questions out there. So here we go. Oh. All right, folks, all lines are unmuted. So if you have a question you want to ask Scott, or if you want to ask of Windstream Enterprises, feel free to throw it out there.
Is this member managed or manager managed?
That was from Liam.
I don't know if I could hear that one.
Manager managed.
Is this member managed or manager managed?
I'm sorry, the training, or what are we referring to?
Yes, I do. Should I just use the same address?
I think Liam's not talking to us.
I think that's a question for somebody else.
All right, so we'll move on. So is anybody else out there got a question for Scott?
Is there a need for the Office Suite to be PCI compliant in retail organizations?
That's a great question. So typically, first of all, I didn't list that on the slide, but we do enable PCI clients with some of the portal functionality and the sign-on capabilities. But beyond that, what we found is that PCI does not come into play with most of the communication functionality. It's usually in relationship to the like credit card transactions and other financial transactions that occur over the data component of the network. So some customers will segment the VLANs out and have a separate segmented VLAN, or even a separate local area network for that for either the credit card processors or something where that information is traversing. But we've rarely seen where that was a must-have for in the UC space. But we do have it with our SD-WAN product and some of our other services where it is relevant, though. Good question. Any others?
Any other questions, Scott? All right. With that, Scott, I thank you for taking your time out. Folks, we do this Wednesday with Webinar series twice a month. Next month, we are touching on virtual PBX in hospitality. Don Jensen's group will be presenting on that, as well as the WeConnect customer-facing portal will be towards the end of the month, August 21st, if I know my Wednesdays right. But But thanks again for coming out. This call it has been recorded and will be put up on the website, so you can access it at any time at your leisure when you're having trouble sleeping at night or when Amazon's keeping you awake. Thanks, Scott. Everybody have a good day.
Thank you. All right. Bye, guys.